What is up, you guys? It's your favorite tarot reader, and I am back. Except for I'm not back with another read. I am back with a how I'm manifesting my husband slash twin flame day 24. Okay, this is going to be about not wanting to experience pain. I kind of also want to do a prayers of a light worker on not wanting to experience pain as well. So, definitely, if I end up filming that video, I will leave that link in the description box below. However, this one is going to be more so about not wanting to feel pain in like a relationship, or even just while dating, because obviously this is a dating series. I'm not married yet, so until you're married, you're forever dating. I feel like being in a relationship is just dating. It's either you're dating or you're married, like period. Like anything in between is fooey. Okay, so listen. Um so today I just woke up and I pretty much slept all morning. It is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm just now getting up, and I haven't even like brushed my teeth, washed my face, like gotten myself together. All I did was put on some chapstick, and I just felt compelled to kind of like come on here and just kind of like not even vent, but kind of just like, this is my therapy. Like, y'all know that. Like, this is my therapy. This is kind of like my mission work. It's a part of my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to help black love, not even just black love, but young love come together. You know, like I'm helping y'all through my journey. So I'm not really sure where I left off. I know I was talking about me like fucking up and stuff last time. And so I kind of want to start like going in order. So I started off last time talking about how I had fucked up, and I wasn't opening myself up, and I don't really remember exactly what the video was about, but I know we had gotten to something and I felt like I fucked up. Fast forward to now. Fast forward to now. And I today am in the energy of feeling like realization. I would say today I feel like was an epiphany day for me, as far as to my relationships with people, with myself, and just kind of like how I've learned to treat myself, I guess. I've kind of fallen into the position of saying that I'm ready for pain, saying that I'm ready to fear something and give it to God and all of that. And then as soon as you get something, it's kind of like your behaviors have already been adapted from past experiences. How you're coming into something, I feel like, is always going to be based off past experiences. Even if you've done the healing work, coming into the connections with other individuals who are mirror reflections of yourself, it's a whole nother level of work being done. So it's a whole different spectrum of emotions, of feelings, of fear, of anxieties, of insecurities and stuff that come out, which sends you back into a traumatic PTSD like state. And I think that's something that we don't understand. Love is traumatic. Like, I don't care what you say, dealing with heartbreak is very, very, very traumatic. And we kind of ignore the fact that PTSD is real. We kind of ignore the fact that PTSD is something that doesn't have to be diagnosed. You could be traumatized by waking up in the middle of the night and your parent is not there. That can be traumatic. So I think we put a meter on what trauma is and what we see trauma as, like, oh, going to the war is so traumatic, being raped is so traumatic. But something as simple as having your heart broken, we don't look at as being traumatic. When people commit suicide because of heartbreak, people become depressed because of heartbreak. People just do crazy things because of heartbreak, like domestic violence. Heartbreak is so intense that it invokes so much fear and so much anxiety into your bloodstream, into your system, into your psyche, that I think it's the most valuable and powerful feeling there is. Love is the highest frequency of all human beings, of all mankind. So to think that getting your heart broken wouldn't be traumatic is nuts to me. 533, thank you, Ascended Masters. It's absolutely nuts. So I've been noticing that I have been triggered so much throughout coming into a new situation. Before, when I was in relationships, I've always been the good girlfriend. I've always dated men who problems were a lot bigger than mine. I've always dated men who I felt like I had to heal, men who were considered the bad boys. And it was kind of just like I felt comfort in giving healing to those people. I really, really did. And I think a part of me felt like that's all that I was capable of, was giving love, because I never got my version of love. I had this fairy tale version of love. I had, oh, well, my parents, my family life doesn't look like what love and family life looks like on TV. So that means I don't have love, right? So I think growing up, I had this perception that I had never really received love. And now, in this moment today, I feel so honored and I feel so loved to have the family that I have, to have had the life that I have been afforded with, to be blessed with the community and just the experience and the richness of the knowledge that I have acquired over time, over the 24, 25 years of my life. And it's such a blessed feeling that I can feel now and I can appreciate. But growing up, I didn't feel loved. I never did. I always felt neglected. I always felt not chosen. And so coming up and feeling these experiences and being triggered into figuring out why I even had these triggers to begin with, like finding the root of the problem, it really came from me having an equal. Because, like I said, dating these bad boys, my toxic traits were never the forefront of our relationship. What I was doing wrong within a relationship was never that important, because what they were doing wrong was so much worse, right? So I never had the chance to truly look at myself. I was looking at the pieces of myself that I hated the most, or that were needing to be the most worked on, and I was healing myself through healing them. But it's not just the big stuff that's important. It's not just the major things about ourselves that we have to heal. Sometimes it's the little shit. Sometimes it's the things about us that go unnoticed, because if you think about it, there are damn near a million different perceptions of self. There's a perception of how you see people, how you think people see you, how people really see you, how your family sees you, how your significant other sees you, how your child sees you. There are so many different perceptions of you and just of your essence and your being. So to put yourself in a position where you meeting somebody who, how can I say it, who is like showing you the little pieces of yourself, like the intricate pieces, because I feel like there are different levels to intimacy, and I've never felt the level of intimacy that I feel now, to the point where it's not about the big shit, right? It's not about the on surface shit. It's to the point where the intimacy level is so intimate that we're getting to the nitty gritty. Like we're getting down to the foundation. You know, before it's like we building a foundation. That's what it is. It's going back. It's going backwards. And I think that's what I've never experienced before. That's how I know that I found my husband, because now God is triggering me to go back to my foundations, right? To go back to where it all started. So for me, I feel like I had my first true love experience at 19 years old. So let's just give y'all like a rundown. So for me, I feel like I've only experienced love, true love, like real love. I would say twice now, because I feel like I'm in love now. And then I felt like I was in love at one point. No, I know I was in love at one point at 19 years old. Other than that, I've never felt in love, even with my child's father. And I really, really hate to say it, but I never felt in love. It was just a relationship that I was in out of comfort and kind of necessity. At the time, it was necessity, and it gave me my baby. So that was why that was relationship was necessary. But I never felt that genuine, this is true love, because again, it was an abusive relationship. So it was hard to believe that that was genuine love, right? So for me, I feel like since I was 19, I have pretty much been basing what love should be off of this one and I don't want to say tiny, because it was not a tiny experience, but this one experience of love that I had. All my other experience of being in a relationship and like little petty situationships and stuff, I had never dealt with like, oh, I had a high school sweetheart and I had somebody that I like really, really loved and blah, 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 blah. I mean, like in middle school, but that didn't really count. That's middle school, you know, like, so fast forward to getting right out of high school, went to college. The second month into college, I met a guy. We gonna call him T, and we fell in love. Like it was like a whirlwind romance. It was like we were always around each other, but never around each other, if that makes sense. Like we was around, but we wasn't around. So when we finally came around, we made it a thing. We jumped into a relationship. Thank you, to the masters. And he was the first person that I had ever disclosed my sexual trauma to. He was the first person that I had ever admitted out loud that anything had ever happened to me. He was the first person who invoked those memories in me. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I associated that with being true love, because that opened up a piece of me, a part of me that I couldn't even open up for myself. So to have that gift, it was like I always, 13, thank you, Cinemasters, like I always held that like hella close to me. Also, it was kind of like he was my first boyfriend, like outside of my mom's house, that I could be intimate with in a sexual way, and it not be sneaking or it not being bad or like any negative energy attached to it. It was just love. It was joy. It was us getting high and having movie nights and building gingerbread men and enjoying each other's company, wanting to be around each other. Until it got to the point where I became attached to him. It was no longer love. It had become attachment. I had literally attached myself to him. I moved into his apartment. I invaded his space. Like, I wanted to be around him all the time. If he wasn't at work, I was just kind of like, let me be here. Like, let me show up. I completely wanted to just immerse myself into his life and make it our life. And it was just because I was craving that family unit, you know, that I wanted from my home life. So whenever you are young and in love and you attach yourself to somebody, I think it's super hard to like fathom the idea of not having that person. So towards the end of the relationship, I gained a lot of weight. I gained about like 50 pounds. I became really, really insecure. I started to put my hands on him and just annoy him and crash parties and stalk him at work. And I just became a very, very, very toxic person due to my own insecurities, due to him forcing me to face myself through dating him. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm realizing all of this in this moment. That's why I do these videos, because God just kind of like speak to me. But yeah, yeah. So I pretty much, I left that situation. Well, I didn't leave it. He broke up with me. He broke up with me. And I got out of that situation, and he wouldn't talk to me. Like, he gave me hope. He was like, yeah, we might get back together. I just need time. I just need space. And I couldn't accept that. So I kind of got into like a whole phase. I just wanted to date somebody because I felt like I needed to hurry up and get over him. Like, I needed to not feel the pain of not having. I could honestly say I was grieving. Now that I think about it, I was grieving who I was when I was with him, because I woke up and I wasn't with him no more. I wasn't his girl. Like, I wasn't that person who I had identified myself as for 9 to 11 months. Like, I just became his girlfriend. Like, I didn't have an identity. I stopped. I had just got to college and I didn't really make friends. I had a good group of friends who are now to this day all still friends, who I've been reconnecting with. But it's kind of like I stopped my whole experience to live in attachment, to live in what I thought was love, you know. I wanted to see my mom in a house with the husband and the kids, and I thought, okay, now that I have a boyfriend, I gotta be in his house. We gotta be fucking, we gotta have a kid. You know, I jumped into, okay, I want a relationship with him, and now I wanna have a kid. And I was manifesting a child without him. I wasn't trying to trap him into a pregnancy, but I think I was. 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 And it was all out of panic and out of fear, not out of love. And I didn't know that. So coming out of that relationship, I met my baby daddy. And right away, 3 days into our relationship, he put his hands on me. He slapped the shit out of me because Antonio called me and I answered. Like, I answered the FaceTime and I was like, yeah, he had asked me to come over, and it's crazy because he had a girlfriend at the time, and I didn't give no fuck. I was like, that's my man. I love him. He want me back. Like, he keep calling, and it got to the point where, like, we was messing around while he had a girlfriend, and I had so much bad karma because of that shit, and I don't hate that shit, but it's kind of like, whatever. But, fuck, so I end up dating my baby daddy because I'm like, fuck, this nigga putting his hands on me, but the pain that I'm feeling with him feels good. Like, it feels like feeling, because with my ex, it was like the last 2 months of the relationship, there was no feeling, there was no love, there was no sex and abundance and love. It was all just kind of like tolerance, tolerating each other, tolerating being around each other, you know? Him tolerating me mainly, and the fact that somebody had feelings for me, like it was enticing feelings in me, invoking feelings in me, with me and my baby daddy like fighting and getting into it, and him loving on me the way he was loving on me, because to him, I was the college girl, I was the good girl, whatever. So it was kind of like, you know, I was really liking being admired and being appreciated for who I really wasn't, because I wasn't the good girl. I wasn't getting good grades because I was stressed about tone, and it was like I was having this fake persona that, oh, I'm doing my homework and I'm this perfect girl, and my mom didn't know what was going on, and it was just like one thing after a fucking other. So I had, even after Vine, I had been basing, no, even during Vine, I had been basing what I thought love was based on the relationship with Tone. Like, I literally thought every single relationship I ever have, I need to do exactly what I did in that one, except for I need to not be insecure. That was my thing. I was like, okay, that's love. So going into every other relationship that wasn't exactly like that, I thought was in love. Like, I didn't appreciate, I didn't see value in. I just was like, the fuck? Like, this nigga don't love me. You know, like, this nigga don't fuck with me. Like, that's just how I went into everything because I was traumatized. I was literally traumatized. Towards the end of our relationship, I started having anxiety about him cheating. And he, I don't know if he was like cheating to this day, but like the stuff that I would find, it was stuff that like, I mean, shouldn't be acceptable, but at the time, I felt like it was stuff that was harmless, to be honest. It was stuff that he was probably like looking for attention, or looking for something outside of me, needing to find some happiness and joy outside of, you know, coming home from work and having to deal with me. So in hindsight, I know like what it was, but like at the time, it was just kind of like, bitch, I'm traumatized. I think every nigga gonna fuck off. I think every nigga doing this. I think every nigga doing that. So I put it into my mind that a man like being at work or taking his phone into the bathroom with him or spending hours in a shower or just little things that I had picked up on from that relationship, like I took those as cues. Like that was my PTSD of like, okay, this person is cheating, I should have anxiety about this, I should do like this, oh, I have to do this. And then with my ex, with the person that I was in love with, I felt like I had to be a homemaker, like cleaning the house, cooking, and just being this perfect person. And that didn't make me perfect. Showing up as a girlfriend would have made me perfect, right? And I mean, there's no version of perfect, but I'm just saying, like, I had this idea, you know, this perception of what love was supposed to be. And coming into what real love is, you just kind of realize that you have to unlearn those habits. You know, now every time, you know, my husband looks at his phone or every time, you know, he gets a call or something, it does invoke fear in me. Like my heart starts beating or like I'll have anxiety, you know. But I don't think that anxiety is something that is meant to hurt me or harm me or cause me pain. And I'd be so scared, like, well, I just want to break up with him. I don't want to deal with him because he's causing me pain. And I don't want to deal with that pain. I don't want to go back there. But it's like, why? If that's the foundation, if that's the trigger, realizing that that's where that PTSD comes from. That's where that anxiety comes from. Thinking, oh, he's going in the bathroom. That means, oh, he finna be on Twitter texting somebody. Like, you know, because I've experienced that before. Putting that onto somebody, you know, guarding my heart, guarding how I love because of PTSD, because of trauma and past experiences. You know, this is 33 Thank You Ascended Masters. Like, having your direct equal teaches you that who you've been the last however many years is not even truly you. You know, like that's not, it's a persona. It's a adaptation. It's what you've adapted to, you know, after an experience that you've dealt with. And I've been realizing that like after all my experiences, I felt so entitled. I felt so entitled to love. Just like I felt like, oh, bitch, I never had it, so I'm just entitled to it. Bitch, I never had it, so just you gotta give it to me. You have to do everything for me. You have to show up for me. You have to reassure me. You have to love my child. You have to do this for me. You have to take out the garbage, or you have to have great sex. Like you have to be emotionally willing to compromise. You have to storm after me when I'm at whatever expectations that you have of people. I feel like I had them. I have them now, even today. That's why I'm having this epiphany moment. I have them. Like, I have all these not unrealistic expectations, but expectations of my husband that I don't necessarily have of myself, or that I'm not showing him that I have of myself. Um, so pretty much like, and neither one of us are perfect. These videos are not to say that he is perfect, that this is a perfect man. He's perfect for me. He is my husband. However, it's not my story to come on here and like express my problems that I have with him. You know, these videos are a healing process of my self journey, of what I have to do for myself. So I don't want y'all in the comments to think like, oh, she just blaming herself, and she's just all so hard on herself, and she never mentions what he's doing wrong, and I'm pretty sure her nigga ain't perfect, and blah blah blah, whatever, because I feel it and I hear it, and I understand. But these videos are for me to kind of like heal myself within my union. This is my healing journey outside of us, because we're going to heal together as a couple. That's what we do in the privacy of our home. But for me, my healing process sometimes needs to be done out loud into the universe. I need to speak it. I need to get it out. I need to release it. So when I speak about the stuff that I'm doing wrong, it's because it's stuff that I need to work on in order to make myself better, so that I can love myself enough to know that I am appreciative, I am ready, I am deserving, and I am worthy of a divine union, of a divine connection, because I'm worthy of doing the work for myself, right? So I've come into the position where I feel like I forgot how to give love due to my PTSD, right? Because I've dated men who were not deserving of my love, because I wasn't deserving of my love at the time, or I didn't feel as if I was worthy of love at the time, because of, it could have been because of my actions, it could have been, because of my pain, because of my trauma, because of my experiences, because of the things that I've been through. It could have been a plethora of things. It is a plethora of things, because I am everything, and everything is all encompassing. Um, but it felt like, to me, I just, I've been in a position of healing myself for 25 years. So in doing so, like, I've faced men who have been my shadow, who have literally been my direct shadow, who have literally shown me the parts of me that I completely dislike about myself, and I've been forced to look at myself, and I've been forced to do that work. And in doing so, like, I feel like I taught myself not to love myself. Like, and this is just for example, because I love my baby daddy, and I don't want to be like on here bashing him, but he was my biggest life lesson. He made me this strong woman that I am today, and I have so much gratitude for him as a man and as a being. So it's important that I speak our truth. But it's just kind of like, I felt like, okay, you putting your hands on me, you always angry at me, I'm always angry at you. You are not deserving of my love, so I don't have to give you my love. I don't have to show up for you. I don't have to speak affirmations into you. I don't have to ask you how your day went. I don't have to um, rub your back, or offer you love, or offer you guidance. I didn't have to do those things for certain men that I was dating, because I didn't feel like they were pouring into me enough to give that to them. So I adapted this behavior of feeling like, shit, I'm not going to give you me unless you're giving me something. But it got to the point where, like, I stopped recognizing when I was being poured into, because I was so used to not being poured into. And even when I felt like I wasn't being poured into, I feel like all those situations, God was pouring knowledge into me, but it was all about perception. Again, it was all about how I was seeing those experiences, and I never had appreciation for any of the experiences I've had until now, until this period of my life. Like, I've always just been like, oh, woe is me. I've always thrown myself a pity party. I've always been a victim, you know? And I'm no longer a victim. So in no longer being a victim, I'm able to stand up for my healing journey and my process, and the things that I want to learn about myself. The things that I seek, the knowledge that I seek about myself, like the little things that I have to work on about myself in order to ascend, in order to be better. Because not only am I learning to communicate better with my husband, but he's teaching me how to be a better communicator with my job. Like, I want to be a life coach. If I can't help my husband and be here for him, how can I be here for myself and my family and others? It's kind of like he is my teacher. He is a powerful ass individual. He is a wise ass man, and he is like here to teach me about me, right? So I say all this to say, y'all, I have been so guarded in this expectant ass energy of just like expecting him to just completely show the fuck up. And when I tell y'all that he has in absolutely every single way, he has shown the fuck up. And for me, it's not that I haven't shown up. It's just that I can honestly say, and this is not something that, like, I would necessarily say, like, he has to tell me or he should tell me or he's feeling like, because I don't know what he's feeling like, like, you know. But as far as what I feel like I could be providing, I feel like I'm giving like the bare minimum. Like I feel like I'm just giving like bits and pieces. Like I feel like I'm teasing him a little bit as far as like what we could have and how we could have things, because I notice him always speaking about our future and things that he wants to do and how he see us, me meeting his peoples and having this life. And I hear him, talking to his people on the phone about me and just about our life together and stuff. And it's just like, he don't really see that from me. Like, he don't see me talking to nobody about him. He don't see me like putting it out there that like, hey, this is my life now. It's kind of like I feel like I'm not really giving reciprocity. I'm just expecting to be poured into. And I can honestly say, like, I think that's how it had to be. I think that's how God needed to show me who my husband was, needed to show me that I could trust him and that I could love him. I think because in the past I was so willing to just give all of me. And it landed me in a very, very hurt spot. And I think God needed to show me that, hey, you are, even in your hurt, worthy of a man showing you that you can be loved, correctly, in the right way. How you desire to be loved, because there is no right way to love somebody, but how you desire to be loved, it's possible and it's capable, and, like, it's here for you. Like, you've manifested it, you deserve it. And, like, even you can say all up and down every day, like, I'm spiritual and I love myself and I'm confident and I'm happy and I deserve this and I want to manifest this. But until you have it, manifest it into your reality, you don't really know that you're worthy of it. You constantly thinking, okay, what do I have to do next to get it? What do I have to do next to keep it? When it's like, God gave it to you. Like, you ready. It's, like, it's here for you. And I think for a lot of our experience together, I was kind of doubting that it was here, because I felt like, shit, what did I do to deserve it? What did I do? And every single day as I realize things about myself, he shows me, like, this is what you did. This is what you got over. This is how you triumphed this. This is how this ended. This is how that ended. And I've kind of realized that, like, in setting up a strong, solid foundation, diminishing old ones comes with the territory. And in since I was 19, I would say most of my exes have been able to get back into contact with me in some way, shape, or form, in some way or another. And especially who we called, I believe we said his name was going to be T. But all of these men still had access to me, and it made me feel a sense of power. Like, okay, they're like, they see value in me, so they're always gonna come back. Cause I know how I am. If I don't want to fuck with somebody, you will never see me again, bitch. Like, if I don't vibe with you, you'll never see me again. So I felt a sense of accomplishment whenever men came back, especially T, because I was so in love with him. And how we ended off, it was like he broke up with me. So anytime he came running back, I felt a sense of empowerment. Last night, I had such an, like, epiphany moment, to the point where, like, I felt a soul tie be severed. I felt the cord being cut, like, literally. it was a moment of just like me and my husband just vibing to some music, to like a beat or something. And my crown chakra just got to tingling, and I just started talking to my grandma, and I just kept hearing her say, "End it all, like finish him, like Mortal Kombat or something." And it's crazy because me and T used to play that game together, like Mortal Kombat. And just as she was saying finish him, he had sent me a message on Instagram and was like, "Why did you block me?" And in the past, I would have been so happy, like, "Oh my God, he wrote me," like, "Oh my God." And in that moment, I just felt like I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize my marriage. I felt so relieved. Like I had never in the couple years that we have not spoken, I've never felt like, damn, he gonna be completely gone. Like I never felt like that. Like I had pictures of him in my phone still, pictures of us, you know. And now I feel like I had to be triggered in certain ways in order to release certain things. I'm a firm believer in sometimes needing to go back to something one last time in order to realize it's done, it's dead. Because I told y'all in the last video that he had wrote me from the other page, and I replied, and then I had blocked him or whatever. And I feel like diminishing like old pieces of yourself is so kind of like, it's sad. I'm not gonna lie, it's sad because it is a grieving process. Like you grieving an old version of yourself. Like last night, I was attached to a soul who was holding me back from love, holding me back from a real version of love. And this morning, I woke up without that attachment. So it feels liberating and it feels good, but at the same time, it feels a little bit empty because now I have room. Now I have room to put something else in that space of that attachment. You know, I have room to usher in a new blessing, and then it's kind of like, what do I want that blessing to be? You know, yesterday I took the whole day just by myself, without Kamaya, without my husband, and y'all, I masturbated and I prayed and I manifested pregnancy and abundance and love and a family and a dog and our dreams to come true. Like I literally just, I saw our whole life, like in my masturbation. And I know that sounds crazy, but tantric sex is real. It's very healing to the soul. And it made me feel so empowered and so special in that moment. And the night that we had felt like an initiation. Like it felt like all of our ancestors were in the room as we solidified a soul connection. Like last night, I feel like my soul decided to love him completely. And like, I'm not gonna be perfect. Like, I'm not gonna have all my shit together in one day. But like, I know as a woman that I've chosen to not show up because of my past and because of my pain. I've chosen to not pour all into somebody because of fear of being hurt, because of the fear of pain and what comes with pain. You know, it's a lot of other emotions attached to pain. It's a lot of other anxieties and feelings that come with that shit. It's not just one. Like when you're happy, you're not just happy, you know? You feel peaceful, you feel joy, you know, you feel other shit, you feel adrenaline, you feel excited, you know? So because everything is everything, it's so important to kind of like take your time with shit. And I feel like at first I was so mad at myself. I'm like, I'm not letting this man love me, and I'm not doing what I gotta do to even keep him interested, you know? But to be honest, I feel like when it's God ordained, it's not a sense of keeping interest. And I think that was my biggest fear, that I had to do something to keep his interest, and that I had to be this certain kind of woman to keep his interest. And that's where the insecurity stemmed from. Thinking I had to be a version of what he would like, or thinking I know what he like or what he want, or like assumptions, coming up with assumptions. That's what it is basically. And those assumptions create insecurities because you don't truly know. Like, you don't know why a person is truly attracted to you. I don't care how well your communication is spiritually. You don't know why a connection is completely what the fuck it is. So no matter how long it's happening, no matter how quickly it's happening, no matter what, I feel like we should allow it to happen. And I didn't have that thought. Like, that wasn't my mental. That wasn't. I couldn't fathom that because I'm like, shit. All I've experienced is pain with niggas. Like, why should I give all of me and experience that shit again? Like, why? And now that I think about it, I'm like, all the times I experienced pain, I came out way better. No matter what, even if experiences ended up fucked up, I can talk to my husband about that shit now and laugh at that shit, or be like, damn, that's some shit that happened to me, and not feel like I'm broken, not feel like I'm damaged, you know, because of that shit that happened. And that's a powerful ass feeling, to no longer feel trapped within my experiences and trapped within my trauma. Like, it feels liberating as fuck. It feels empowering. It feels good. It feels, I was about to say holy. Like, it feels just peaceful to my soul and serene, and it feels, and it's like I needed it. I feel like I needed the missing piece to my soul. Like, and I know it sounds crazy to say like you needed somebody, because we train to think that we don't need people, but I feel like it takes a village to love somebody. It takes a village to raise a person, because a child needs love from everybody, not just one person, not just a mother. We aren't meant to be single mothers. We aren't meant to be single families. We are meant to like live in harmony and balance and togetherness. So to say that I don't need him would be an understatement to the power that he has, because I do need him. I do need his healing. I do need him to show me me. He is my reflection. And I was so scared to need him before. I was scared to need him. I was scared to cuddle with him at night. I was scared to need him for comfort, need him for favors. I was scared to need him, but I need him. And I didn't know that last night. I know that today. Like, I'm not afraid no more. I'm not afraid to be in love no more. And I'm not afraid to envision my life with him, and manifest the life that I want with him, and be scared. For a long time, I was scared to bring up babies, because y'all know I'm manifesting a child, but I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want to scare him off. And last night, he like, well, we can't wait forever to have a baby. And we didn't talk about like when, we want to decide to manifest a child, because it'll come when it comes. But just the fact that I was afraid to express that want and that need with him just showed that I wasn't giving him enough credit for how he loves me and the future that he sees with me, because without me even having to bring it up, it was something that he saw for us. And that gave me comfort, that gave me reassurance, that gave me that divine message of, this is the man that God has for you. And if y'all would like to see a video about knowing how I knew the man that God had for me, and I think that may come a little bit later, but just if y'all would be interested, like, build up the comments so that I can know that's something that y'all want to see, because I feel like it's so important to to kind of like hear those signs, because I don't know why, but like when I met him, I started listening to like Marvin Gaye, and I've never listened to him before. And videos on my YouTube started to pop up, like how to know when God has the man for you, like relationship podcast, and stuff like that has started to pop up. And just the fact that God wanted that in my psyche, God wanted me to start the process of healing myself and understanding the symptoms and the signs of understanding when I was going to know, I felt like that gave me comfort and reassurance. So I want to do that for y'all. So if you guys would like to see those kind of videos, definitely leave comments down below. I'm enjoying the series. If y'all are enjoying the longer videos in this series, definitely leave an emoji of a clock in the comment section down below. I will have links to all of my playlists in the description box below. Also, I have started to sell jewelry over on my Instagram at Capri Sun Tarot. So if you guys are interested in that, head over there and check that out. Also, I don't know what also, but I hope you guys just enjoyed the video. I hope you guys found some comfort or some enlightenment or some kind of divine messages or some kind of confirmation from this video. If you did, leave it in the comment section below. Let me know that this video resonated with you in some way and that you took something from the video. And